So thanks so much for your time today, Rex. For those that don't know, Rex is part of DeFiSafety. We'll be digging into a little bit more about what they do, but also his thoughts on cybersecurity in the DeFi and crypto space. So just to start off with, Rex, could you give me a sort of quick intro on what DeFiSafety does and what it's looking to achieve?
Certainly, and it's a pleasure to be able to speak with you, James. DeFiSafety started from my experience in avionics software, and I wanted to bring the safety culture of avionics software to DeFi where it can really do some good. So what we did was we developed standards for what is good DeFi software, because when you're dealing with traditional finance, you're dealing with an intermediary, generally a bank or a broker or some such. When you're dealing with DeFi, the intermediary is the software. So the quality of the software is absolutely crucial. And giving people confidence that you've done the work to make safe software, absolutely crucial. So we develop standards that measure this, and we rate DeFi protocols based on those standards, which gives somebody who doesn't know how to do their own research, doesn't know how to read audits, it gives them a place where they can get a clear, independent score on the safety effort that each protocol did. We've been doing this for 4 years now. We've done close to 600 reviews on many protocols. You'll see 200 active reviews on our protocols. A lot of them get old, and a lot of the protocols themselves have died, so they have a lifespan, so to speak. And we're in the 9th iteration of our standard.
Fantastic. And from when we spoke before, you act completely independently, which is something quite unique.
This is the intent. We're trying to be an impartial, independent measure of quality.
Fantastic. And then within that, what gave you the idea to start offering quality certificates?
So the idea of a quality certificate, it's an easy way for a third party, a user who doesn't understand DeFi. You learn that if the protocol has a DeFiSafety certificate, then you know that they've been independently checked for quality and safety and transparency. So transparency is the superpower of DeFi, but the protocol has to make the effort to use it, and we can measure that.
Fantastic. And generally, what has the response been so far to what you're doing in the community?
It's up and down, because at the moment, DeFi is a very risk-on environment. There's a lot of scams. There's a lot of hacks. Things come quickly. In that environment, independent quality measurement is not as important as you think. It's far more important, it's all about getting alpha and doing it in a high-risk environment. So because everybody is come in saying, this is money that I'm willing to lose, it's high risk, then the requirements for a good quality system and the incentive for it decreases a bit. So it's been an uphill struggle in that part. And for that reason, we're starting to offer consulting services on security processes for the individual protocols and such.
Fantastic. And what do you think then is the biggest problem facing the crypto security industry at the moment?
At the moment, I would say it's phishing scams. It started out as smart contract risk, and auditing was the problem. There was a bit of front end where you would hijack the front end. These things are mostly mitigated, and especially if the protocol follows the steps that the industry best practices, those risks are lower. They're not gone, especially when you're really trying to push the envelope with the protocol that you're doing. New risks come up, but they're not as high as they were. But phishing, where you open a bad email and then your computer is infected and then you start losing money from transactions and such, or you hit the wrong transaction and you've authorized a third party to start removing stables. So that phishing, I would say, is the highest risk right now. And one of the things that I would say, if you are moving reasonable amounts of money, or you want to keep money safe, just do all your transactions on another computer. Do all your email, your website moving on your one computer, but when you're moving money, just use a separate computer. You can hack one computer, but it can't teleport into the other one yet. So that is a relatively simple method that I would suggest using to mitigate the phishing risk, because my God, it's so easy to click on the wrong thing, to open the wrong document. I mean, if you're going to be 100% safe, you just leave your computer off, and that doesn't help you much either.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a tricky situation. And why would you say that crypto, I mean, it seems like from some of the things we've been seeing that the crypto industry tends to be targeted probably more than some of the others, maybe in line with things like healthcare and things like that. I mean, do you have any opinions on why you think it as an industry has been targeted, things like phishing amongst others, why it's targeted so much?
Well, it's still a lot of the people who are using it, primarily because the risk on is they're not super mature on good security practices. And the user interface is still low. There's a new innovation coming in the next 6 months on Ethereum and other EVM points called account abstraction. This may make it easier for people to more securely use it. And with that, you would be able to say, look, I can only move this much money. It's like the limit on withdrawals on your bank account. You would be able to put things like that in easily. And the problem of losing your keys will be dramatically reduced, because you'll be able to go to your friends and they'll be able to put the key back together again for you. So I think it will be getting safer, but right now the maturity is still rather low. And the other thing is, this is a weakness of transparency, because anybody can see all the code. Healthcare, you have to actually hack into the machine before you can start seeing. Everything's a little bit of a struggle. But with DeFi and crypto, everything is public, which makes the security amount more challenging.
Absolutely, no, it's an interesting way of thinking about it, and I totally agree from some of the conversations I've had. Fantastic. So, last question: what would you recommend to teams looking to attract and then retain cyber talent at the moment?
So, this is something. We're a very small company, so we don't have a lot of human resource experience. So we're on there. I mean, myself, I would say it's basically you give them interesting things to do, and you make sure you listen to them, and that they can say that some of the stuff that they talked about had an impact. So you try and take their advice, so so that they feel like they're a part of the solution, which always helps. But as I said, HR, we don't have a big staff at this point, so it's really not something that I specialize in.
No, that's understandable. No, I think it's the case with a lot of teams, actually, especially in crypto and DeFi, as you say.
Yes,
they run small teams.
Small.
Yeah, they run light, and then they get to the point of, what do I do from here? Or it's maybe they manage to find the talent, but then keeping them. But I think you're right. From the engineers I speak to, the biggest things is they want to be doing interesting stuff. Especially in security, every engineer I speak to, they enjoy their job. They want to be working on the best things, and as you say, they want to see that what they've done has had an impact. So if you can give them interesting problems and let them get on with it, I think you'll do pretty well in general. Fantastic. Great. And do you have any, I suppose, last minute tips maybe for someone that is thinking of starting up a company in this space, and from your wisdom doing so?
I mean, there's a lot of opportunity. The room for innovation is excellent. I would say look to what the bigger protocols and the medium protocols, look to protocols with a high DeFi safety score for people who are doing the best practices. It's all out there. Some of it is quite easy and simple. Other parts are quite technically challenging, and really be learning, and things change fast. So you have to be immensely adaptable. But there's opportunities out there. And if we can make it safer for people so that this aura of Wild West is diminished somewhat, then I think we'll see a lot more people using DeFi.
Fantastic. Great advice. Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for your time, Rex. It's been great for doing this lightning chat with me. And yeah, for anyone that is potentially looking at getting a DeFi trust certificate, or is interested in what you do, what would be the best way to reach out to you?
I mean, DeFiSafety.com, info@DeFiSafety.com, and then we're on Telegram, we're on Discord, so we're not hard to find.
Fantastic. Great. Well, thanks so much for your time, Rex.
Thanks, James. My pleasure.